Broadcast, brought to you by myself, Dan Dickau, your host on the Field of 68 Network, focused on Gonzaga hoops and the incredible season that they are having, as well as the incredible past and tradition that has been building for quite some time. Today's guest, if I'm not mistaken, was a part of the first team that was ranked number one in Gonzaga history, a four-year starter, one of the most consistent and dependable players that has come through the program during this incredible NCAA tournament run. Currently a grad assistant learning the ropes as a coach, Gary Bell Jr. Gary, thanks for joining. How is everything going?
Man, it's going good, man. Right now in the bubble, getting ready for the tournament, and thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Let's jump right to it. You were a player who was the Washington State High School Player of the Year from Kent Ridge, not Kentwood High School.
There we go.
What was the selling point of coming to Gonzaga? Because if I remember correctly, you played for Seattle Rotary, a tremendous AAU program over on the west side. But a lot of guys from that area haven't made the journey from west side over to Spokane. What was the determining factor for you?
Honestly, even before they started recruiting me, Gonzaga, we had knew Adam Morrison. So my first time seeing Adam Morrison was in maybe like an all-star game they had at Rainier Beach High School, where he was playing against like Lod and Rod Strick, or Lod and Rod, Aaron Brooks, like guys like that. He dropped 40 in that all-star game. And me and my dad were like, who is this guy? So my dad was like, he's going to Gonzaga. We're going to watch him, from here on out. And we did that. And then finally started getting recruited by him. And, the rest was history. I kind of fell in love with what they were doing over here, family atmosphere. And, everything that they sold me on, they're selling it on these kids now too. So, and the rest is history.
Well, you were a tremendous fit over here, but you also had a tremendous backcourt partner that you and him fit very well together, and that's Kevin Pangos. He's continuing to carve out a nice career over in Europe with some really good teams in the EuroLeague. What was it about you and Kevin on the floor together that made things work so well?
I just think we both could shoot the basketball, and he has a very high IQ. And we always were together pretty much 24/7, our first 2 years. So we knew our spots. We knew if, somebody punched this way, we like to, drift or fill behind, get threes off of that. And we just, we were locked in, from day one.
You're one of very few defenders as a freshman that can come in and be ready to play. I know for a fact my college career, when I started at UW, defensively, I was lost. And if you ask Coach Few and some others, they would say I was lost my whole career. It didn't matter where or when. What was it that allowed you to be so good at that end of the floor early on in your career?
I just knew that was going to get me on the court. At that time, I want to say Marquise Carter was just coming off of Newcomer of the Year. And I was expecting, come off the bench and just provide energy and knock down open shots and just find my way on the court. And defense was that. My dad always told me, it wasn't just offense that's gonna allow you to play. You gotta, show something different. So, and that was defense for me. I've been doing it my whole life, so it's pretty easy.
Is that something that impresses you about Jalen Suggs? Because I think offensively he's got a nice willingness to make plays for others, but I think the biggest thing I've been impressed with is defensively, his instincts for a freshman are very good. Is that something you see as well?
For sure. I mean, sometimes he'll get lost, but he makes up for it so quick. He's so athletic and he wants to play defense. I feel like sometimes he might get, like I said, lost or whatever, but then he'll lock back in. You got to tell him sometimes like, yo, come on, they're scoring too easy or something like that. And he listens and does it. Like he's probably our best defender on the ball, him and Aaron, I think so. And if he really wanted to be defensive player of the year, I think he could do that.
Yeah, it's such a different mindset in the program now. We were always good offensively back when I played. But there's been a gradual progression to becoming a really good defensive ball club. And I think honestly, it's a lot of it started in your era and with the focus that you had, and then it's continued to grow from there. But you were a part of that first team at Gonzaga that was ranked number one. What were your memories of that? Because people in Spokane and people that follow Gonzaga are getting spoiled, and you were part of that first group, and I was a part of a group of former players that was just so over the top excited for you guys and what the program was accomplishing at the time.
Man, it was cool. We kind of knew once we beat Portland that we were probably going to be the number one team in the nation, even though it was only for a week because we had, Selection Sunday. It was still cool. I just remember the campus was going crazy. They had like a big number one cake in the middle of campus by like Cataldo and stuff. So it was cool. A lot to do with Kelly and Elias. They helped they helped a lot. But no, that was definitely a cool thing to do something that's never been done at Gonzaga. At that time was crazy.
Give me your best Kelly Olynyk story, because he was someone who came in with a lot of promise, and as what happens with a lot of guys, they struggle to find their footing, they struggle to find their way early in college. Many guys transfer. He decided, hey, I'm going to take a different route. I'm going to redshirt and get it done here at Gonzaga because that's where he wanted to be. And then he came back and became a lottery pick. Do you have a good Kelly Olynyk story?
I guess nothing that I can, say live right now, but Kelly just worked so hard, man. I just remember during that time where he was sitting out, he was literally our best player, during that time. It just got to a point to where we'd be going over scouting stuff, and Coach Feud had to tell him, all right, get out. Nobody's doing that on their team. Like you're messing up the scouting report because you want to do, your stuff and all that. But he was just so good. Very fundamental. I think he's not that athletic, but once he gets moving, he's very athletic. And he just was so easy to play with because in short roll situation, you give it to him. He wouldn't travel. If somebody wasn't there, he'd go dunk it. If they were there, he's able to stop, jump stop, get to his post moves. He was just very, very good, obviously.
We'll get back to the show in a minute, but first, let me tell you about our partners over at DraftKings Sportsbook. With March Madness beating down our door, DraftKings is the best way for you to get a little action in on the game. If you have not downloaded the DraftKings Sportsbook app yet, what are you waiting for? It's the safest, it's the most secure, it's reliable, and it allows you to safely deposit and withdraw your money at your convenience. And this week, they are offering my listeners a pretty sweet deal. If you sign up now with the promo code FIELD68, that is FIELD, the number 68, FIELD68, you can turn $1 into $100 if one of the main event fighters in UFC 259 this weekend lands a single punch. That's it. One punch to turn $1 into $100. And don't worry, if MMA isn't your thing, DraftKings Sportsbook offers odds and promos on basketball, hockey, or whatever sport you are watching. But since they're basically giving away $100, you might as well sign up now. Watch a little UFC and remember to use the promo code FIELD68. That's FIELD68. Must be 21 years or older. Offer available for a limited time only. Eligibility restrictions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Yeah, he's carved out an awesome NBA career. Played in the NBA Finals last year, which, if I think correctly, he and John Stockton are the only. Well, John, and Adam are the only former Zags who have played in the NBA Finals. Adam winning one with the Lakers. With the way you've kind of answered a couple of these questions, I can see the coach coming out talking about short rolls and talking about skill sets and different things. Is that something that you felt you wanted to get into during the course of your playing career, or did you just kind of fall into it with Gonzaga?
Honestly, man, which is crazy because a lot of this is because of Tommy. But when I was here, I was helping coach like their younger team with Joe and Tyson that's actually going to Boise State. I actually coached those guys for a little bit, and he was like, I think you could be a great coach. So I took that for what it was, and then played overseas. And the last 2 years, I knew I wanted to coach, but I didn't know where it was going to be. I knew I was going to be done playing basketball, and then Tommy calls me again and offers me, to be a grad assistant, and it's been a blessing. Get to be with my family, and also be with my Zag family and learn from probably the best coaching staff in America. So it's pretty cool.
After playing at GU, you had a couple stints overseas in Europe. How was that for you? Because I know some guys love it, some guys it's a struggle for. I had two different stints over in Europe, and it was hard for me because of family. What was it like for you, and what made you just finally decide, hey, you know what, I'm done?
Pretty much like you, it was family, because the basketball was great. I loved playing out there, getting to play against different talent that you probably never get to play against while you're, in the States. But it was just, the family aspect. I was married, had 2 kids at the time. So once my daughter came over and seen me in like Greece and she didn't really know who I was, I just was like, oh no, it's over. I can't have that. I gotta be back home and, be here for them. So
that had to have been tough. That had to have been tough, and I absolutely respect that, because family is absolutely should be prioritized, and it sounds like you do that, and you sounds like you prioritized your Gonzaga basketball family. Yeah. For an outsider, how would you describe the Gonzaga basketball family?
Gosh, how would I describe it? Man, that's a tough question. I think it just starts with Coach Few and Tommy. Like, you see those guys, and Coach Few does so much with his family while he's still, our head coach. He brings his kids to the gym. I mean, not as much now because of COVID reasons, but he brings Joe, AJ, his daughter, his youngest son Cole. Like, they're at the gym, and you see them there, and even while he's getting on us, you always see him going over to spend time with them on the sideline, making jokes and stuff like that. So they just prioritize family before basketball, which is wild, why we're so successful.
So you played for Coach Few, and I'm sure, as all of us former players, had some moments where we just shook our head because of a sarcastic comment or two, or just something that he said to put us in our place. How have you kind of viewed him, or how have your relationship with him changed from playing with him to now being on a staff, learning from him, giving input when the opportunity comes?
As a player, I feel like you try to avoid him as much as possible, just so you don't get those sarcastic inputs that he gives. But now it's a lot easier. I don't think he still probably views me as one of his players, but now I'm on the coaching staff, so it's a different it's a different dynamic of what I can bring to the table. So I don't know, it's pretty cool to see him on this side of it, because I get to go into the coach's locker room sometimes and hear like in game, the adjustments and stuff like that. So while you're a player, you only see him, getting mad at you for things you did wrong or, stuff like that. So now I see why he was getting on us.
This season, they capped off an undefeated regular season. Thankfully for the seniors like Corey Kispert and Aaron Cook, grad transfer, had a chance to play in front of fans for the last couple games of the year. They finally had a chance to play in front of fans. The freshman, Jalen Suggs, finally had a chance to play in front of a few fans. The Kennel is a unique and amazing experience to play in. What was your favorite experience playing in the Kennel?
My favorite experience was, probably when, we were number 1 playing against Portland. That was pretty cool, because I still have that poster. It's at my parents' house, but that was pretty cool. And then maybe playing against, it Illinois my sophomore year, and playing against Draymond Green and Michigan State my freshman year. Even though we lost those 2 games, that atmosphere was ridiculous. Like, probably one of the best.
I remember I was at that Illinois game, and they were really good that year. They had big, strong guards, if I remember right, and that atmosphere was good. That's for sure. Couple quick hitters before I let you go. You have an open 3 to win the national title. And you could pick yourself. You could pick your backcourt mate, Kevin Pangos. You could pick a current Zag, a former Zag. Who do you want taking that 3 for Gonzaga to win its first national title?
Me, for sure. But if I had to choose somebody else, it'd probably go Kevin or Corey.
Awesome. Love it. You got to have that confidence. And I don't think you get enough credit, because if you look at your career 3-point percentage, you're in that mid-40s if I'm not mistaken. And so that's got to be top 10 all-time percentage-wise from Gonzaga players. All right. You're in a ball handling, you're in a pick and roll situation, a scenario. There's been lots of good bigs that have come through Gonzaga. Who do you want to play pick and roll with in a situation where you need a bucket?
Gosh, that's tough. Are we talking about college, just college stats, or are we talking about the pros too?
Any Gonzaga guy, whether they're in the pros now or whether they're on the team now or whether they're a past former Zag that's done playing.
Dang, that's tough, man. Because I would go Kelly. I talked about him before, but Domas or Carl Wilcher is right up there too. I'll probably go Kelly though.
I like that because Kelly can give you that pick and pop. He can kind of short roll and make a play.
Yeah.
Domas can do either one. Wilcher, you know what? You're probably getting pick and pop action, but if there's a fraction of an inch of space, I mean, he's going to let it fly. More times than not, it's going in. So, well, Gary, I appreciate the time. I know Gonzaga basketball community in Spokane really values what you did as a player. I don't think enough people understand and value what you are doing as a young coach, not only learning the game, but also impacting this current team. So appreciate you joining, and best of luck to you guys as you head down to Vegas for the conference tournament and make that run deep into the NCAA tournament so we can kind of finally put to squash all of these bad comments that are coming across the country on Gonzaga basketball.
We're due, man. Coach Few's due. All right. Thanks, Dan.
Thanks again.